Hello and welcome to Women's Biz Global with Annie Gibbins, live streaming into 91 countries around the world via the Everyday Women's Network and our partners Roku and Fire TV. My name is Annie Gibbins, founder and CEO of Women's Biz Global, where we help women accelerate their growth, success, and impact by elevating their global brand value and positioning. I have the honor and privilege of interviewing successful women from around the world who inspire us, incredibly inspirational women who help us to raise our gaze towards what is truly possible. And today I am so delighted and super pumped to introduce you to my beautiful guest. Her name is Allie Pepper. Welcome, Allie.
Hello, everybody.
So great to have Allie Pepper here. For those of you who don't know Allie, she is a professional mountaineer. She's an inspirational speaker. She's coming from the Blue Mountains of New South Wales, and she has a lot of exciting news to share with us because she's on the cusp of serious greatness. She has previously reached the summit of Mount Everest. Yes, exactly, Mount Everest. And besides taking people from menopause to menopeaks through her business, Allie Pepper Adventures, she has an incredible project coming up, which we are going to discuss on today's show. So I'm going to hand it straight over to you, gorgeous Allie. What's your jam, amazing lady? What are you all about?
Well, I'm about to embark on the biggest project of my life, which is to climb all 14 of the world's 8,000-meter mountains without additional oxygen to the true summit in the world's fastest time.
Okay, let's just unpack that for the listeners who've just gone, what? So there's 14 summits, true summits over 8,000 meters, and you're going to do all of them without oxygen in the fastest time. And so what is the previous fastest time?
16 years.
16 years. And what are you going to do it in?
Just over 2 years.
Oh my gosh, 2 years. And you're just about to start. I think you're launching out tomorrow. So I've grabbed you.
Flying tomorrow, yes.
And so where do you land? Where's your first summit going to be?
Yeah, so I land in Kathmandu and I'm going to do some trekking to acclimatize first. And then my first 8,000-meter peak is called Dalagiri. And then that starts the journey. So once I reach the summit of that first peak, that's the official start date for the world record. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so from there, actually, I'm spending 5 months away and I'm climbing Makalu next. I might do Lhotse as well in Nepal. I'm just going to see how I go, how the body goes. And then I fly to Pakistan to do Nanga Parbat, Gasherbrum 1 and Gasherbrum 2.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. While we're all just awestruck with this concept that you're actually sharing with us, I'd love you to actually just go back and explain to us, how does a woman from the Blue Mountains, obviously there's lots of mountains and you've got beautiful bushwalks there, but how did you actually get into mountaineering? Was it by accident? Did you always want to be a mountaineer? What's the backstory of Allie Pepper?
Yeah, so it's a very good question. And I grew up here in the Blue Mountains, but I never knew that there was rock climbing and all these amazing outdoor adventures up here. When I finished high school, I actually failed my HSC. And had I had the opportunity to do outdoor education at school, I think my life would have been a little different. However, I didn't have that opportunity, and I actually didn't discover outdoor recreation until 1999, after a journey through India and Nepal, but a spiritual quest where I went to try to find myself. I came home and decided it was time for a proper career, and I went to TAFE, local college, and I basically just chose a brochure off the wall because at the time I was a hippie, and it read outdoor recreation. And I was like, oh, I love the outdoors. I'm going to recreate myself. And I started that course. And basically in that course up here in the beautiful Blue Mountains, I learned to rock climb. I learned how to guide people. The art of guiding people gave me a lot of self-confidence and self-esteem. And during the time that I was training, one of the instructors asked me, did I want to go to New Zealand and do a technical mountaineering course. So at the end of 2000, in December, I went and did a 10-day course in New Zealand. That's when I found my true passion. And I was in love with mountains. I instantly went after that course to climb a mountain called Mount Aspiring, which is really beautiful. With one of the students on the course, we got all our skills and we went off on our own and we summited that mountain, and it was incredible. I haven't looked back since.
Incredible, all right. And the fact that it actually gives hopes for those of you who are listening, watching in, thinking I've never been very sporty, because I'm doing the maths on this. You were actually about 23 years old when you...
I'm 47. I'm menopausal and proud.
You're now 47, but you didn't actually discover, oh my gosh, mountains are my thing to 23. I love the way you actually looked at it with recreation instead of recreation. And pretty much just the universe sort of calling you in, saying,
I did. I found my life path. Yeah.
Go off, and it shows that you're an all-in kind of girl right from the beginning. So not much has changed, obviously, with your character, because you've then gone and said, yep, I'll go to New Zealand. Yes, now I'll go and climb a massive mountain. And now, yes, I'm going to make this my entire world, which shows the Allie Pepper qualities haven't changed over the years, that you're like, yeah, if I'm going to do it, I want to do it all, right?
Yes.
Absolutely fantastic. So from there, how do you go from, I've done some mountaineering courses and I now go and do the college course in Australia that was called TAFE. You become an outdoor guide. You have to learn these skills. And then how does the journey then evolve that one day, talk us through, you actually went, I'm going to climb the highest mountain in the world, Mount Everest?
Yeah, so I spent a lot of time guiding in South America. So I lived there for 3 years, and I speak Spanish, and I did a lot of training in terms of my climbing. I'm going to say I was a climbing bum. So I went to the University of Mountaineering, so to speak. I got to a point climbing and guiding there where when I realized it was time, to go to the Himalaya, I was ready. And that's when I did my first 8,000-meter peak, which is called Cha'oyu. And actually what ended up happening is my climbing partner stayed in the base camp because he got frostnip, and I summited on my own. I went up on my own in 2007. I went to the summit by myself. No one else went that day. I didn't use any bottled oxygen, and I made the summit alone, and I came back from there. And that gave me this burning desire. I felt like I had won the Commonwealth Games and a ticket into the Olympics, which was climbing all 14 8,000s without oxygen. That's what I wanted to do. That was my dream at the time. But when I came home, I realized my job is one of the lowest paid jobs in Australia. And I had no corporate connections. I had no idea how to sponsor that project. And I realized, I don't know what to do. And I went into quite a big depression, actually, because I felt like I had discovered the thing that made me me, and I was good at it. And I didn't know how to fulfill my dreams. And so I basically decided that if I climbed Everest, it was the highest one that would fulfill my desire. And I spent 3 years saving the money to do it. I had a little bit of corporate partners on board. That's a small amount of money in comparison to how much it costs. And so I set off to the Himalaya. I hadn't climbed at altitude, hadn't even put crampons on for 3 years. And there I was on Everest with just one climbing Sherpa, just us two. That was it. And I just realized at the time, like I was going too slow because I hadn't had the training that I normally would in the year, you know, guiding at high altitude to make the summit without additional oxygen. And so I decided, and with a lot of tears because I was heartbroken, that I would go to the summit, but I would use oxygen. So I had to find it. I didn't have any. So I had to find it in the base camp. I had to ask people if I could buy their bottles off them. I didn't want to waste my money. So I actually summited. However, I summited in a storm. So it was very tough and extreme. I don't know how to describe it. But when I came back from that expedition, again, I felt depressed, believe it or not. Like at the time, I felt like I had failed. Like I know this sounds perhaps a little crazy to people, but my actual goal was to climb Everest without oxygen, and to have failed in my whole goal was heartbreaking.
Incredible. It is incredible. I know everyone else is like, why? You've actually climbed Everest. That's so amazing. But that's what it's about. And we're all very unique in what we actually set as the goal. And if your goal is, no, I want to do it with no oxygen, it's important for you for whatever those reasons are. And then therefore, that's how you measure your success, right? And so although you were successful, you're saying, actually, I wasn't as successful as I wanted to be because that wasn't my full goal. Is that
correct? Right? And you know, like now looking back, because hindsight's always, you can't have hindsight without having hindsight, right? But in hindsight, I understand like that whole journey was a lesson. And I understand, like, I have been on like lots of 8,000 meter expeditions. Some I have failed, some I have won. Like I'm only playing against myself. But you know, some I have been proud of, and I guess over time, like I've become more proud of my efforts for sure. Changing the whole way of thinking to everything that happens is a lesson. So now I'm here today, you know, as a 47-year-old menopausal woman who is ready to take on this project finally in all aspects of her life.
Yeah. You're an all-in kind of woman, and seriously, never say never to a 47-year-old menopausal woman who says, this is my dream, this is my this is my moment, I'm going to do it. I love the way you are seriously one of the thriftiest athletes I've ever met and interviewed. I love it. It's kind of like, no, I couldn't afford the oxygen. No, I couldn't afford all the other things that actually come, and people might not realize that a lot of people who do these mountains have got incredible infrastructure behind them. They've got support crew, they've got chefs, they've got big paying sponsors, and that doesn't devalue their incredible achievements. But when you actually look at what Allie has done, that she just goes off and does her own thing, does her own training, takes one Sherpa with her, and then goes and summits in a storm, and then has to just pretty much sort of go, can anyone lend me some oxygen? You are seriously a unique human being and one to be revered and respected. I'd love to change tones a little bit and then just tell the listeners what's something interesting or funny or quirky about you that might surprise those people listening into this woman. Instead of you just going, wow, amazing, what makes Allie Allie?
It's a hard one because I do actually change every day as a person, and the things I focus on each day can be different. And I guess I could perhaps talk about what I'm focusing on at the moment. And I don't know if that's quirky or not, but I do meditate, and that's very important to me. It has become a practice that I do every morning and every night, and I will be doing it on the mountain also, just to come to my center and be able to make the best decisions that I can make in my life. So I don't know if that's quirky. That's not really funny, but that's what I've got right now.
I remember doing an outdoor mountaineering course with you, and you told me that you did Everest on lollies and pancake
That's
mixture.
true. That's true. Yes. Yes. Good point. Thank you for reminding me.
Wow, I thought you'd be like, oh, I've got this amazing.
You remember my story.
I'm fangirling you, and I was a tent buddy once, which was just hilarious. Other backstory, and then I'm like, I went home going, wow, this woman said she just ate lollies and lived on this crazy diet, and I'm like, well, that was amazing.
Yeah, I pretty much climbed Everest on chocolate. I ate chocolate on the mountains and lollies, and at base camp, pretty much all I ate were banana pancakes with Nutella on top.
I love it. So it shows us that you've just got to do what you've got to do. You've got to tap into your body, listen to your body, and go, you know what, it's not always about doing the perfect. It's about what's going to get you through this time. What do you crave? What do you need? And you know what, make it your own.
Like I could say I need to have this amazing athlete diet, right?
Yeah.
And for sure, I try to have that food at home, like organic vegetables, grass-fed meat, sustainable organic products, all the best things that money can buy, because I do love my body. It's my temple. However, I need to adapt, like, because there's not that option there. So essentially, whatever I can get my hands on, like I'm going to Pakistan this year, right? Like I just need to fuel the body with whatever I need. So, but with energy, I should say.
Yeah, you do all the hard work and you do all the training, but when you're actually in the moment, it's like permission to do whatever you want. You know, I think that's important for people to know, that you don't have to be that 100% every single moment. It's the preparation and the training and the stepping up every day when people aren't watching, you know, rain, hail or shine, and being consistent in what you're doing and focused. And then when you're actually there, if you suddenly want whatever, go for it. It's amazing.
Yeah, correct. And consistency is the key, like in the training and the preparation. You know, I have 2 workouts to do soon. So yeah, consistency is the key. And like you say, like when we're at the height of whatever our project is and, you know, we're getting on with it and we're in it, like it's okay. You don't have to be perfect. Yeah, you don't have to be perfect.
Exactly.
You just got to adapt and do what you've got to do.
I think there's a huge part of being flexible and adapting to the environment, particularly in your world, that you're going to have to be changing to weather conditions, climate changes at all times regularly. And so you certainly need to be flexible. You've tapped into the word menopausal and you've described yourself as, you know, perimenopausal. And I've certainly just been through that stage myself. What have been the biggest challenges for you? Here you are, a supreme athlete. You've got these massive goals. You're just about to embark on it. And then you were also saying, you know, actually, you know, this is a stage of women's life that it can be really challenging. What have been the challenges to you, and how did you then turn that time of menopause into saying, you know what, I'm going to make it my menopeak? I love that saying.
Yeah. And I'm going to just say that when menopause hit me, I thought my career was over. I just thought that I was going to be hanging up the ice axes for the rest of my life. And it hit like a freight train for me. Like, I know every woman has their own menopause journey, but I had no idea it would be so full on. And for me, I was on the more extreme end of symptoms. So in terms of, like, you know, waking up, like I normally sleep all through the night, but I was waking up like 5 times to completely awake, dripping in sweat, like saturating the sheets, brain fog. Someone would talk about a cute dog and I would start crying. I couldn't control my emotions. My joints were aching. Rock climbing became so painful. like I wasn't recovering. I would eat a cucumber and put on fat. I couldn't grow muscle. This is just a few things, okay? I don't want to put people off, but it's the truth. And thankfully, on this journey of seeing doctors and trying to get help, I came across WellFem, which is a online group of doctors that women in Australia can get help from, because they're trained in menopause. Because actually menopause, like as a topic in a doctor's journey, is I think a few hours of their degree. Yeah. And so not many doctors know what to do. And I was put onto a hormone replacement therapy. So I use a gel, estrogen gel, and I take a tablet for progesterone every day. After a month, I started to get rid of all the big symptoms. But over a year, I am now putting on muscle. I am the strongest I've been since I can even remember. My body is, I would say, at least 10 years younger.
Wow.
And I know my body can do this project. So it's a huge change. If your body is a powerhouse, like if you're healthy and you feel good in your body, it changes your whole life. It changes your mindset. It's like the number one thing in your life. If you think about, being sick and you're in hospital, what can you do? All other aspects of your life are affected, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Health is everything, right? Absolutely.
Health is, yes. And like, do we want to, when I say like menopause, I mean like pause, menopause. Do we want to pause and have this freight train hit us and potentially stop our whole life and dreams and goals? Or do we want to menopeak and start our life like again, almost, with being wiser, right? Because we've learned like a lot of lessons to get to where we are today at our age, and have a new dream, a bigger goal, right?
Absolutely right. I absolutely love it, and I'm so there with you that although some of the symptoms can be really confronting and really traumatic, and we've all got our own experiences of that. It is a moment to pause. It is a time to pause and actually go, okay, well, this is a stage of life, and with every stage of life, it's a stage of transition. It's a choice to then lean into that next stage and think, what could I do in this next stage that I have never done before, or that I've always dreamed of, that I always had excuses, or maybe I've now freed up in a bit more time and I can now use this opportunity to seize the moment, get myself fit, start a new company, do whatever you're wanting to do, have a side passion. I absolutely love it. I just see women, particularly in their early 50s, just going crazy on success.
Yes.
Because they've picked up, as you've said, Allie, so many life skills and expertise, learnings, that they go, oh my gosh, once they switch their mindset on, they are unstoppable. Which brings me to my next question to you. What do you lie awake dreaming of? Now, you're not lying awake with pools of sweat. You're dreaming of achieving your goals, right? You've got the most exciting project. But what does it actually look like for you? Are you picturing yourself on these summits? Are you picturing yourself doing the hard work? What goes through your mindset so that we can tap into it with you?
It's an awesome question, because it is so important to visualize your dream finished, whatever it is, and into the future. And I do spend a lot of time visualizing. It's not just visualizing, actually. It's visualizing and feeling what it feels like to be that person. So I have visualize the entire project, standing on the summit, hugging my friends, getting a bottle of champagne and like pouring it all over myself and that kind of thing. But more than that, what I take a lot of time to visualize is how that will impact other people. So it's not all about me, because actually my purpose is to inspire others. So in terms of that visualization, I am visualizing standing on big stages. I'm visualizing people being able to lift people's spirits, that they hear what I say and they feel a spark inside themselves, or they feel uplifted in some way. And that is what I visualize. And I know the power of words, and I'm filming the project also as a documentary. So yeah, I feel my visualizations are the two things that are me and my purpose.
Beautifully articulated. I can imagine that. It must be like what it's like to be an Olympian, that you actually visualize, being on the podium, visualize doing that race over and over again, and all the joy and the energy and the excitement of getting to that goal, because you have to believe it to achieve it, right? There's a real foundational element of mindset.
And receive.
Yes, exactly. If you don't believe it's possible, then you'll do all this work and you'll be hopeful, but hopeful doesn't achieve the dream, right? Totally. So you must have to dig deep in a lot of your mindset. Do you have specific people, books, ways of delving into other thought leaders to help you on this journey to actually have that belief that it is possible?
Yeah, and that's a really good question too. And I do have a coach. I have 4 coaches. So I have 2 coaches in terms of my body and my physical training. I have 1 business strategy coach, and I have a transformational life coach. And the transformational life coach is truly the foundation, because no matter how fit I am, and how I guess how many partners I have on board my project, when I'm on the mountain, if my mindset is not right, I may as well throw all of that other training in the bin. So the transformational coach that I have is honestly one of the most important people in my team.
Yeah, which is fascinating for people to think about. And that's right, isn't it? Because you're alone on that mountain ultimately, and there will be those moments of extreme challenge and disappointment and frustration, and you might get sick, you could have an accident, not that we're wishing on anything, hopefully you'll be beautifully healthy and you'll have blue sky all the way, but life is ebbs and flows, and that's right. Well, you have to be so mentally strong to be able to achieve what you're trying to do. That is such an interesting thought. So thank you for sharing that. So tell us then, you mentioned earlier in this show that you went into a real low when you first discovered hiking and adventuring, and you knew what you wanted to do. And it was a very long time ago that you had this dream to do the 14 summits without oxygen.
Well, 15 years.
It takes money, it takes sponsors, and that's often the thing that any athletes or artists really in different areas don't realize that, and they might not necessarily have the business sense or business skills, expertise, credentials behind them, that they just want to climb that mountain. They just want to do what they want to do, but it takes money. And so therefore in that well would have been that reality check of, oh my gosh, Allie Pepper is a brand. I have to grow the Allie Pepper brand. I have to show sponsors why I'm worth investing in, that they have to get a return of investment on myself while I'm trying to achieve my goal. And I'm assuming, because you're now going to be on the mountains for the next 2 to 3 years, that's going to require, I know, and I want you to tell us about your GoFundMe page, because we definitely want to get people around the world supporting you to be able to achieve this dream. It's so amazing. But also, as well as telling us about the GoFundMe, tell me about what you had to learn about becoming a brand in your own right.
Yeah, like a lot. And I'm still learning, and thankfully I have a coach because I'm not an expert in everything. And the thing is, I'm an expert in mountaineering, but I'm not an expert marketing person. I'm not an expert manager, sports manager, but it's taking the things that I am an expert in and building with other people that are experts in the other things. And I guess in terms of me as a brand, like, the mindset coaching has helped a lot for me to understand my values and how I can give back. And once I guess, like, understand my value, like, there's only one Allie Pepper, there's only one Annie Gibbins, right? There's only one of us. And I feel that's the whole key, is like understanding who you are. Once you understand who you are, then you understand what your true value is, right? And then your partners can see also the value you bring to them.
Being 100% you. And so there's a lot of self-searching and discovery of actually knowing that. What are your values? What do you represent? What message are you showing while you're out on the mountain? Why do you want to visualize yourself being on those stages, so that you can empower and encourage, particularly young girls, but anyone around the world, to chase their dreams, to believe that is possible, to believe that, if you loved something at whether you were 5 or 23, learning that it's your new thing, that you want them to chase that. And so you're wanting to therefore align with brands who respect that and value that. So it's not only just can you support me financially, but you have to know what you stand for with total clarity, so that you attract the right partners who obviously also want to, sell their mountaineering equipment and so forth, but they'll all be very different. So it's a very challenging area, and one that I'm sure that you have learned so much along the way. So I've got a viewer question, and so let's just hear from our viewer.
Hi, Annie. Can you ask Allie Pepper how she does to stay motivated to keep climbing mountains when she has climbed the biggest one, Everest?
Thank you for the beautiful question. And I'm going to answer it by saying that it's my passion. So mountaineering is my passion. And for me, when I combine my passion, which is mountaineering, with my purpose, which is to inspire people and to lift them up and help them to be a better version of themselves, that becomes powerful. And for me, that is what my whole life is about.
Beautiful. I hope that helps you, beautiful viewer. Now, Allie, I know that you obviously have corporate partners who are wanting to sponsor you, encourage you, support you through this incredible journey. But I also know that there is opportunity for those of us who are watching this TV show and thinking, oh my gosh, I would love to be part of that journey to support Allie Pepper. I want to visualize that my few dollars of support are actually helping her be able to climb that next mountain and to make this dream come true over the next couple of years. So how can they do that?
Oh, thank you, Annie. And it really means a lot to me when someone, even if they donate whatever they donate, 20 cents, $5, but their donation comes through, maybe they put their name, maybe they put anonymous, but I just feel the love that they give to know that they support me on my journey, and it's very much appreciated. So if they go to my website, alliepepper.com, on that homepage, they'll find my GoFundMe link. If they go to my Instagram account, which is Allie Pepper Adventures, they'll click on Linktree, they'll find the GoFundMe, and they'll also find my Garmin InReach links there. And what people can do while I'm on my journey and while I'm climbing my mountains is click on that link and see where I am, because it has live tracking, which is super exciting. People can follow me climbing up on summit day. They can even click on that link and send a message to me on the mountain, like, good luck on your summit attempt tonight, or whatever it is. And they can know that I will get that message, which is so beautiful. So there's so many ways people can help me on my journey.
Oh, I absolutely love that. I wish my kids were younger, because that's exactly the same sort of journey that I would have done as a parent, to say, hey, let's all watch Allie, support her financially, but also watch her and send messages to her. It's just like an Olympian. It's this moment to say, yes, you can do that, because I know there'll be times that you'll be out of range and then suddenly it'll come in and then you'll get those messages, and they're the messages that really just give you that extra boost and go, I'm doing it for John and Jenny and
yes, and like, exactly.
people around the world who are believing in me. Oh my goodness, thank you. So definitely jump onto alliepepper.com. All the details for her GoFundMe are there. I'll also obviously have all of her details on her Instagram available in my show recording notes for you. So I think that is just the best opportunity that we can all be part of your journey over the next couple of years, and you'll just feel us all cheering you on.
Thank you.
What I would love you to do now is just to close the show by giving us some top tips to help others with their future success. We all want to achieve success in our own way, on our own terms. We measure it differently. But what's the one thing that our viewers could do today that you believe would help them on their future success journey?
The one thing I'm going to share is to be vulnerable. And I know that sounds like, why is that important? But it's really the only way that we can show our authentic selves. And I feel it's like the quickest way for making a connection with all the people around you. And in business, it's all about connections, right? So the more you can share about yourself, the quicker it is to make a connection.
That is such a great concept, and so true, isn't it? Often we just think I've got to be the best. It's a solo thing. Whereas what you've shared today is it seriously takes a village to get Allie Pepper where she is. It takes a village for all of us to actually show up as our best self. And then, but with that means that you've got to be vulnerable, don't you? You've got to actually say, I'm not very good at that, or I need your help or expertise in this area, or I need you to give me feedback, even if it hurts. There's so many to that vulnerability, which is a challenge, because particularly those of you watching who are perfectionists going, I don't feel comfortable when I let other people into my space. I want to guard it. I want to protect it. And it's really scary. So if you're watching and listening in thinking, that's right, that's easier said than done. It is. Vulnerability is hard. It's a hard lesson. right?
Yeah.
But
it's so worth it.
once you go, oh my gosh, permission to just be me, to be with all my flaws and quirks and amazingness and whatever that recipe is, to be Allie or to be Annie or to be you, our beautiful listeners. It is so important that other people will be your complement. They'll be part of the beautiful package, and that helps you ultimately rise to the next level. And that's what we're all about talking about on this show, Women's Biz Global. It's actually saying, well, how do you reach your full potential? By actually letting your guard down, by letting others come in on your journey, to enjoy and celebrate all of those moments with them, and to grab the joy of having a bigger tribe around you, and so much reward there. And I'm sure that's been hard. You would have been quite a solo operator in the early days, and I imagine that has been a huge learning curve for you, Allie.
Yes, I have done everything on my own.
Yeah, but it's so much more.
And but to have this big project, like, it's not possible. It's not possible.
Exactly.
So to have the people on board that I need is invaluable. And don't be afraid to ask for help, because the people often are all there. It's just you not saying yes. I can do it. Don't worry. Like, I can do it. I can do it. Why? Like, why? When there's experts out there that it could take you like a year to learn something, but there's a person that you could pay a certain amount of money, which I am, because they're the expert in that field.
But then you get to rise to the next level and achieve the goal.
Yeah.
Or if you said no, you're robbing yourself.
That's what it takes. That's what it takes. I don't know that many, CEOs or people that are doing extreme things, including in sports, that don't have coaches.
Oh, you've got to have a coach. Like, obviously, I'm going to say that, as I am a coach to many women around the world. But I tell you what, all of us need a coach. You all want to have someone who has more.
Even coaches have coaches.
Even coaches have coaches. Absolutely. You should want that. My view is I always want to be the weakest link in the room. I want to be learning and growing from people who've had incredible experiences that I can sometimes replicate. Sometimes I can learn from them, or learn from their failings and their wisdom, and then think, oh, gee, I won't do that now. I'll try something in a different way. It will really be the best piece of advice you're going to learn today, listeners, is to seriously be vulnerable, invite other people into your world, invite the right people into your world, those who actually are on your team, on your side, big fans, big supporters, but also are true and honest and have the right knowledge, skill, and expertise. Wow.
You'll know who they are.
You'll know who they are.
You'll know who they are, because they love you and they want to help you, and you'll know who they are. Yeah, I promise that.
Oh, my goodness. We could talk all day, but unfortunately we're out of time. Please thank Allie Pepper for joining me on our show today, everybody. Woohoo! I've absolutely loved having you here today. For those of you watching in around the world, tell your friends to join us next week, where I get to interview another amazing guest. All of the guests on Women's Biz Global will inspire and empower and motivate you to achieve your big dreams in your own way, in your own time. And that's what we're all about, supporting and celebrating women around the globe to strive for more. Much love to you all. Bye for now.